Welcome back, everybody. It is me, OC Steve, coming at you once again. We are doing a wrap-up of the G1 Climax 30 tournament. And as always, my fellow co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the sixth member of LIJ from Frisco Way, without a doubt, is my good friend Dave. Dave, how the hell are you doing?
I'm doing good, even though I'm being blasphemous with this Bullet Club hat right now.
Hey, it wouldn't be controversial without a little fun and seasoning. So I appreciate your fandom. You know, as Bullet Club right now, we're struggling a little bit. Didn't really have the G1 we wanted. We had a little bit of flies in the ointment, but that was kind of a theme throughout the photo finish that was the G1. Leading into the final, you know, we had Will kind of plant his own flag in the sand and announce his own faction. I think throughout the course of the night, the current slated name is Empire, because it seems like he has a lot of people backing him from Rev Pro Way.
I want it to be Diablo Loco.
I think everybody and their mom did with that little intermission promo promoting the card game, but he's just deciding to double down on the Empire. So for
his reasoning was because Hiromu was in his little card faction. That's why it was Diablo Loco.
I don't try to pick reasoning when it comes to the assassin. I was almost about to say the aerial assassin, so I caught myself. So I'm sorry. I don't know what color or name or what he wants to go by, so I'll just leave it at that. We had him turning on Okada and planting his own flag in the sand. So moving forward, he's going to be his own man. And we also had Gato being a little problematic for Jay. You know, the J1 was not what it was supposed to be for the King Switch.
The J1. I can't believe you say that stuff.
It is what it is. It's fine. We're moving forward. Looks like him and Evil are bound to have a collision course, a power struggle, if you will, for the dominance of Bullet Club. So that's very on the nose moving forward into the future of New Japan. But without a further ado, we will be discussing the card that just recently wrapped up earlier this Sunday morning as we're recording this video. So let's get into it. The first match was a four-man tag with members of Chaos versus members of Suzuki-gun. Your thoughts, Dave?
First of all, I thought the members were weirdly mixed up. Like, why is Dookie out there with Desperado? Because Despy is current, IWGP Junior Tag Champs with Yoshinobu. But I can, when they first came out, I loved that, really Kevin Kelly and Rocky were referring to them as more as like the dangerous techers because of Tai Chi and ZSJ. And let me just say, it was an amazing. It was a good opening match. Good opening match. They constantly went after Ishii in the knees. I love. I love. Anytime there's a four-man match. Because in WWE and other places, you don't see them actually coordinating well to where they each, everybody comes in the ring and just knocks everybody else out. And then, now it's a coordinated effort in the ring. Like New Japan does these, tag teams very well, and glad to see Suzuki-gun coming out on top in the opening match.
Yeah, and that kind of harkening back to what you're saying, and I think that's kind of neat that they work as a well-oiled machine when they do these multi-man tag matches, especially when it's faction versus faction. Because in WWE fashion, they just get everybody to come in and dogpile a dude and just mudhole stomp them, and then they get in and they get out. You don't really see any collaborative efforts from guys that are in various weight classes or moving around. So that was kind of neat to see that in the opening match. And then the second match of the night is we had a little additional faction fighting between Suzuki-gun and LIJ. Your thoughts on that?
Ooh. First of all, so we're talking about Minoru Suzuki, Yoshinobu Kanemaru versus Shingo and Haro. Right?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, amazing match, because anytime you put Minoru and Shingo into a ring together, You're gonna get explosive fireworks. I constantly think Yoshinobu Kanemaru is very underrated. Very underrated. He's been in the game for 20, close to 20 or 20 plus years. Yoshinobu's been there, man. And he hit, what is that? I forget what his move is called, but it's the DDT from the second rope. And oh man, it was a good match overall. And as an LIJ fan and a Suzuki-gun fan, it didn't matter to me who won. But the real big thing was at the end, where just Minoru kept on shoving that belt in Shingo's face, and they kept on going after each other. And did you see how many young lions Minoru messed up?
It was almost like the opening of Lord of the Rings. Like Minoru Suzuki was like Lord Sauron, just like knocking guys left and right. I saw Gabriel Kidd like almost get decimated like at least like 50 times.
He gave one of them, I think Gabriel Kidd, like a headbutt. Like,
yeah.
Whoa!
Like Gabriel Kidd kept on getting popping back up, and Minoru was like, nope, you don't understand, kid. It's time for hard knocks. And your teacher is Professor Murder Grandpa Suzuki himself. So you're going to learn today is what happened with Minoru there. So then we went into the third match of the night, which was kind of some weird pairings. I mean, kind of par for the course. You had Bullet Club, you had Gato, you had Ishimori, Kenta, and Jay versus kind of this smorgasbord of faces consisting of God's favorite blue-haired boy, Master Wato, Jeff Cobb, Juice, don't call him Culture Club Robinson, and Tana with the good hair, the ace of New Japan. Your thoughts on this match?
I call Juice the Blues Brothers, man. He's from Joliet, Illinois. That's where the Blues Brothers are from. That's why he's rocking that kind of look. Yeah, the chaos pairing was weird. Number one, I still have not bought into Master Wato. I just look at him just like, who are you? Get out of this ring. And you forgot about Gato being on the BC side. Like, I love when Gato is in a match. Because, and I have to drop, I won't drop the word, but, anytime, he does something, then somebody comes up and, just kind of like points or starts hitting, he's like, whoa! Oh shit! Oh shit! Like so loud. He's an overseller, and I love Gato.
And that was kind of funny.
First of all, and let's not forget, Tenzan was out there as well. Tenzan was like this weird coach.
His support motivational coach Tenzan was there for Master Wato.
Yeah.
I just the whole gimmick of Wato is kind of a hard deal for me to sell because it's like, dude, you're coming back from excursion. You're relatively young on the scene, and you want to be called a master. You got weird colored hair. Your trunks are all everywhere.
I was gonna say his outfit sucks.
Like you're not really rocking an outfit where I'm like, like if it was Hiroki Goto, where I'm like looking at this guy, I'm like, this guy's gonna come to kill you. He wants to be called master. I'm gonna call him a master. Whatever he wants to be called, I will. But with Wato, I'm like, dude, you killed a whole clan of Smurfs. I'm not afraid of you.
No, literally, Master Wato and YOSHI-HASHI are in the dungeon for me. Like, who cares about these two?
Yeah, it's like you guys should be fighting till the end of eternity to who's the biggest powder puff in New Japan.
And I would still take Master Wato over YOSHI-HASHI just because, like, I've seen YOSHI-HASHI for 2 years. Like, you have done nothing. You're boring. You were a black hole of charisma.
And the one thing that you were good is that you were on the long-term injured reserve list for New Japan for the course of 2.5 years.
But we gotten off the match. It was
ultimately Gato is becoming a liability for Bullet Club, and
also I like that the commentary team talked about, like, who Yujiro laying down for Jay, and then Yujiro like backing off on that plan, and like who told Yujiro to back off, and like and they're implicating Gato, who's playing both sides right now.
So he's just seeing who's going to be his boy moving forward, whether it's going to be Evil or if it's going to be Jay. He's testing the waters, if you will, to see
Exactly. See, that's the thing. It's like he's done it to Okada. Why wouldn't he do it to Jay White?
Just to see who's really going to rise above and who's
Yeah.
really going to take that next degree in Bullet Club. So yeah, Gato unfortunately did tap out in that match, which led to
the Cloverleaf.
Yep, he did. And it led to the intermission where the announcement was made that Wrestle Kingdom 15 is going to be happening in January, and it will be 2 nights. I know there was a lot of people going, are they going to keep to the 2-night model that we had this year? Or in light of everything going on, are we just going to keep to 1 night? But, you know, we talked about that prior. What are your thoughts about Wrestle Kingdom being 2 nights?
Real quick, just one last thing about that Cloverleaf. I think Tanahashi's Cloverleaf is absolute trash. Wrestle Kingdom 2 nights. I think it's a good move. You got 2 belts to defend. You know, Naito, he could do double duty, but in my opinion, it worked last year. It's going to work this year. In my opinion, it just means more Wrestle Kingdom for me, and more, you know, people featured, more matches featured, more, you know, storylines being, you know, coming to a head. I think it's a good thing. I like it.
So then we came back from the intermission, and then we had another 2-man tag match with Will and his new boy, the Great Okan, returning from Rev Pro, taking on his former faction Chaos with the leader, Okada and Sho. I really thought Sho put on a clinic in this. His those suplexes that he did to Will were something of beauty and just sheer raw strength on his end. What were your thoughts in this match, Dave?
I love how Okada opened the match.
Just came out hot, didn't even wait to take off the ring gear. He was just bludgeoning Will.
Exactly. Oh, I'm like, I've never seen Okada this pissed. Like, this is good wrestling right here. But you're absolutely right with Sho. He put on a clinic. My goodness. That man, like, I'm surprised they haven't pushed him more. He is a contract guy. Maybe his contract's coming up. I don't know. But, you know, Sho needs to be featured more. Like, this guy, like, can you imagine Sho versus Kota Ibushi?
It's not too hard.
Is Sho still a junior?
Yes, but it's not too hard with that in mind. Looking at Sho and looking at his sheer raw strength for his size, and seeing that easy transition in a couple months' time of him moving into the heavyweight division.
Didn't Sho win the last flexing concourse competition?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in light of the events that have happened to Yo, I mean, even with him touring stateside last year during the battle of the Super J Cup, I mean, Sho was putting on exceptional matches. The match that he had with ELP was something that, go back to New Japan World and watch that, and you're going to witness a great match of somebody with Sho's caliber and strength versus ELP's just speed and maneuverability. It's a great match to watch, but I could literally see him winning Battle of the Super Juniors. Foreseeably, you know, crystal balling, tinfoil hatting this, within a year's time, I could see him moving up into the heavyweight division.
I think he should at least have dip his feet into, dip his toes into the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship conversation. Never held it, just because maybe he's been tag team the whole time.
Well, I think it was stacked too. I mean, you still had Will Ospreay there, and so they were really making him the face of the junior division at that time. So they were really waiting for Will to have the transition, and kind of in New Japan style, they want to make sure that they have something to compensate for their plans moving forward. So it was just that waiting period to make sure that Sho was ready to take those reins. Because I know a lot of in other ways they were looking at maybe Dragon Lee or other guys, but I think they really want to double down on their own in-house talent and people that are signed to a contract, which we've mentioned before. You're only going to move in the New Japan system is if you're a part of the New Japan system. You're only going to get so far if you're one of these per diem or per event talents.
Well, let's see. Kota Ibushi signed a lifetime contract last June, and he's just won 2 G1s in a row.
Yes. So, you know, but it's also the thing, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. So we'll see if he actually wins this Wrestle Kingdom.
And not only was it his, even though we're getting ahead of ourselves, his second G1 win in a row, it was his third G1 final in a row.
Yeah. So if you're a betting man, I would say going into this year's Wrestle Kingdom, it's going to be hard to imagine a pitcher without Kota Ibushi coming home with some gold moving forward.
I see him taking that IWGP belt off of Naito. I do. I really do. It's his time.
And fulfilling his own destiny of being the god of New Japan. Because Tanahashi's been the ace, but all of Ibushi's promos mentioned that he wants to be God, capital G, not G-O-D. Oh, yeah. He wants to be the god of...
Not only he wants to be the Shiraku, not only that, but, Naito, early in his career, started as Genius. That was emanating, Tanahashi's style. Even Naito's moves today are kind of imbue Tanahashi's style. Like a lot of people, you look at Tanahashi, as the god of New Japan.
So I think he's been under the learning tree of Tanahashi. He's fit. He's ready to go. It's just that natural progression in things. So, unfortunately, to some people's dismay, Will's guys got the win moving forward with a little interference from Bae Priestley. So then we went to the fifth match of the night, which was another tag match with the Tokyo Pimp, Yujiro Takahashi, teaming up with the man who was exuding justice in New Japan, Evil, versus Tetsuya Naito and Bushi of LIJ. Your thoughts on this match, Dave?
Amazing match. It was a good storytelling back and forth. The idea that, we're talking like maybe 6 months ago that this match is happening, I'm laughing at you. What are you talking about? Evil and Yujiro versus Naito and Bushi? What are you smoking? I want some of that. But at the same time, I mean, this Naito Evil saga is not over. It's not even close.
I definitely see, we still got another event. We still got a few more events before Wrestle Kingdom. So there's still a chance for Evil to get that gold back in one way, shape, or form from Naito and upset his day.
Evil has a target on his back, not only from all of LIJ, but some of Bullet Club as well.
And that's been addressed in social media, that a lot of the American side of Bullet Club has not really met Evil and understood what his goals and ambitions are with being with Bullet Club. So we still kind of have that feeling out period that's going to play out leading into Wrestle Kingdom within the own faction of Bullet Club itself.
Okay, check this out, right? I was on the New Japan shop earlier today, and I saw the calendar. And one of the months, is Bullet Club, and it has a picture of Evil, Jay White, and Kenta. Those are the only three. And I'm like, is this what New Japan is projecting us as the leaders of different parts of Bullet Club?
That's it. I mean, the Kenta really hasn't addressed his stake and claim, because he's been kind of on this tunnel vision quest of holding on to that U.S. belt, and the ultimate goal is to compete against Jon Moxley, which now the Ace has announced that he wants to go after that briefcase himself. So...
Well, yeah, he kind of broke that briefcase with his face.
Yeah, which Kenta got a little upset about post-match.
Did you see the piece of tape? Yeah, that's on there that says, "Hey, Tanahashi, this is what your head did to my briefcase."
Put an F for the briefcase in the chat. But yeah, Kenta's briefcase has not been seeing any good love in that end. But it was, I would say, my take with the match with Evil and those guys is that, like you said, this story is not going to be wrapped up anytime too soon. So, with Dick Togo, with the regular interference of him, Evil picking up the win, moving forward with that, I thought it was a good match. It's a good match leading up to the main event.
Exactly. Very good storytelling, and the fact that we got we got trouble brewing in Suzuki-gun and Bullet Club right now.
And that's what's kind of neat, is to see that internal
Damn.
faction turmoil,
Yeah, almost every faction is in turmoil. Technically, LIJ is too, because they're still battling evil.
Yeah. Well, each guy, it has their own rift with evil, and they're not really on the same page right now. They each, you saw Hiromu earlier this year just literally lose his mind in the ring about the betrayal. Sonata, his own tag partner, doesn't really know how to operate. And even the post-match interviews, he hasn't really addressed any too direct concerns about it other than, I want to get at him. But you can tell that there's some unfinished business there. And Naito feels betrayed because that was the second guy Naito brought into LIJ, if I'm not mistaken, was evil.
I thought it was the first guy.
Yeah. So, I mean, in the scheme of things, when he was creating his own faction, which we're now seeing with Will trying to establish him, if you go back in the Wayback Machine, that was the guy he wanted to vet and was going to help him put his flag in the sand moving forward in the New Japan landscape.
Yeah, like, I forget what Evil's real name is, like Takahashi Watanabe or something like that. And, but it's like, he brought you in. It's like, man, like, even though I thought, like, with Shingo, like, LIJ is getting a little too big, like, BC is exploding.
It wouldn't be Bullet Club if we didn't have some powder keg turmoil within our ranks. So I think
I'm waiting for Tama to get back and rule on all these situations.
I definitely think the firing squad is going to bring back those shirts, and they're going to clean house for sure. So we'll wait and see. It's Tama without the beard, clean cut, ready to rock, and we'll see who is left in his wake when World Tag League happens very soon. So leading into that, we do have the main event of the night, the A block winner Ibushi, and pulled out a victory out of the nobody would have thought, but we did bring it up before. Sonata coming in as the B block winner, and both of these guys coming to a head for who is going to take home the G1 tournament title, cup, trophy, whatever you want to call it, and that flag. I don't get. Maybe you could shed some light on me. I don't get why they have a trophy and why they have a flag. It just seems like a bunch of stuff. So
it just looks prestigious, like they say with college football, the pageant.
And so, I thought this was a great match because you had somebody who's a very slow burn in Sonata, where he's very articulate, and then you have Kota Ibushi, who's that guy that comes out like a powder keg engine, heavy strikes. It was a really great match in my mind. This is the definition of strong styles, two different styles colliding in the ring and with the stakes on the line. What were your thoughts, Dave?
As a huge Sonata fan, Sonata's one, when I first started watching, he was one of the ones I really clung to at the beginning. But I'm tired of that cold skull maneuver. It looks dumb. It doesn't do anything. People always fight out of it. And, Sonata's moves become too predictable, in my opinion. He needs to kind of reinvigorate himself. I don't know what he's doing, with this weird mirrored jacket, Elton John.
David Bowie, Space Pirate.
There you go. But, I thought Sonata was going to pull this one off. I understood, if we're going to talk about behind the scenes, I understood that Sonata's a freelancer, and we were talking about this before, and we both agreed, like, maybe Sonata signed a contract, and Sonata's got the winner. And, nope. Kota Ibushi is still riding them coattails from signing that year-long contract, not year-long, a lifetime contract a year ago. And he's got the world in his palm right now. Kota Ibushi will be the next IWGP champion, in my opinion. He's going to beat the absolute living hell out of Naito. And last time I remember seeing Naito versus Ibushi, I remember seeing insane German suplexes on the apron. I remember seeing necks just being tweaked in directions that they should not go. And it's going to be an absolute war, but Ibushi will come out on top at Wrestle Kingdom as champion, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, it like we mentioned earlier. If you're a betting man, it's definitely Kota Ibushi's time to shine. So I'd be definitely watching for that. So then, just kind of also wrapping up with Ibushi winning, the next major tour that we're going to be going into is Power Struggle, and how appropriate the name, as mentioning before, with all of these factions in turmoil, with their own feuds, their own storylines, their own dissension in the ranks, that we go from starting Friday, October 23rd, running all the way Thursday, November 5th, with the big event, Power Struggle, happening Saturday, November 7th at the Edon Arena in Osaka.
It's gonna be, I can't wait to see the card. It's gonna be a quick tour, so they don't have that much time to set up a card. Like, I don't think they're gonna do an Evil Jay White thing this soon. I'm hoping they're not gonna waste Minoru versus Shingo rematch for the Neverweight at this tournament. I hope they save that for Wrestle Kingdom. But I'm interested to see what they pull off on this card.
And then, like, less than a week later, then we get that whole World Tag League Best of the Super Juniors combo tour, where one night it's going to be World Tag League, the alternating night it's going to be the Best of the Super Juniors. That is going to be running through November 15th, and then finishing just in time for everybody to get a little bit of a breather before Wrestle Kingdom on December 11th.
Ooh. That first of all, the running two congruent tours, that's insane, because basically you gotta have your heavyweights in one town and your juniors in another town, and they're gonna be separated, but at the same time we are gonna be flooded, absolutely flooded with great wrestling action.
I mean, it's going to be a photo finish going into Wrestle Kingdom. You need to realize that the bigger tentpole events, I'm not saying watch everything, but probably the Power Struggle pay-per-view leading is going to be a pretty pivotal event, and then the finals of World Tag and Super Juniors will be pivotal going into Wrestle Kingdom. So we'll cover that as we get the announcements of the participants in Battle of the Super Juniors as the teams develop in World Tag League. So that is kind of a bunch of news for now, but that's kind of the funny thing is I can respect it as a New Japan fan that we're hitting this photo finish, and they're making sure that they're going off their little OCD Gato checklist of hitting all the tentpole events before they go to Wrestle Kingdom.
It's amazing booking. Best in the goddamn world.
And he's been faced with nothing but adversity throughout the course of this year, between woes of people going to alternate promotions here stateside, having restrictions with talent that sign dual contracts that can't compete or are locked into a contract that they can't escape out of to defend a title. So who knows where that current U.S. championship is going to lie. We know that Kenta has a contract sitting in a briefcase right now that has been battered and destroyed, that it might be him and Tanahashi defending it. Who knows? They might advocate the title till then. That's a lot of stuff to digest. I appreciate you checking in once a week as much as we could in light of everything going on with the G1 tournament. So I think we're going to kind of keep the momentum going. We'll check in sporadically, and definitely we'll check in every post-major pay-per-view happening in New Japan. So as always, thank you, Dave, for your time. Thanks, everybody, for watching these videos. If you enjoy them, give them a big thumbs up. Share them with your fellow New Japan fans. We want to invite other people. Dave and I love talking aside, but if we can get some other people in the mix, if you're a Taguchi Japan fan, just so we can add another faction person in that, maybe you're a Lion Mark, maybe you're an LA Dojo aficionado. I don't know. Come and enjoy the conversation. We just want to keep New Japan relevant in the wrestling landscape because, they're very humble about their business. So they really rely on their fans to be boisterous and adamant about the best quality of product in wrestling right now that's out there. In my mind, they're the most underrated promotion in 2020 because of the fact that they're very humble about presenting themselves in the wrestling theater and landscape. So I enjoy New Japan. I want to exude that. I want to eliminate the stigma nationwide that it's hard to understand names. It's hard to understand factions. There's a lot of events coming at me, but you're getting quality every time you turn on New Japan World. I've said it before. There are plenty of companies that have served over 2 billion people, but New Japan itself is that filet mignon that you can cut into, have a good time, meet amazing people such as Dave and any other people that I've met along this journey, and be able to talk shop and just have a good time. So that's the news for now. Thank you, Dave. Thanks, everybody, for watching. I appreciate the Bullet Club hat that you are wearing. So in light of that, I will give you an LIJ fist bump.
Oh, yeah, brother.